The sun was sinking behind the red cliffs of Arizona when young rancher Colton Hale realized he wasn't alone on his land. A massive silhouette stood near the corral, broad-shouldered, towering, wrapped in a worn blanket patterned with tribal symbols Colton didn't recognize. The stranger didn't speak at first. He simply watched the trembling horses as if he could hear something no one else could. Colton's father had always warned him, never judge a man by his size, or by where he comes from, judge him by what he does. So, even though fear prickled Colton's spine, he approached with caution instead of reaching for his rifle. The stranger finally introduced himself as Dakota, traveling alone and far from his Apache homeland after a long conflict had scattered his people. His voice was deep but calm, carrying a tired dignity instead of threat, and when he asked merely for water and a corner of the barn to sleep in, Colton's heart softened. A man that exhausted couldn't be dangerous, or so he believed. Wanting to honor his father's teachings, Colton made what he would later call the biggest mistake of his life. He offered the giant traveler his own bed inside the ranch house, insisting he rest properly after days under the harsh desert sun. That single moment set a chain of events rolling faster than a storm from the mountains. That night, strange sounds echoed across the ranch. The restless stomping of horses, the anxious barking of dogs, the whisper of footsteps outside windows. Colton couldn't sleep, haunted by the unsettling feeling that letting a complete stranger into his home, into his father's old room, had awakened something old and dangerous. When dawn came, Dakota was already outside studying tracks in the dirt. "Your ranch is being watched," he said quietly, pointing toward the ridge. Colton's stomach dropped. Someone, or something, had circled the ranch all night long. Before Colton could ask questions, Dakota revealed the truth. He wasn't being hunted alone. Those tracks belonged to renegade bandits who had been tailing him across the desert, and now because Colton had offered shelter, the ranch and everyone on it was in danger. But even as fear clawed at his chest, one thing was clear. Dakota had no intention of running. "You gave me shelter," he said. "Now I will stand with you." Colton didn't know whether he had welcomed a protector or unknowingly invited a storm into his home. Either way, the danger had arrived, and it wasn't leaving. By sundown the next day, the ranch felt like a trapped animal, quiet, tense, waiting for the strike. The hens refused to leave their coop. The horses paced nervously, and even the wind seemed to avoid crossing the yard. Dakota spent the day strengthening weak fence lines, checking blind spots near the ridge, and memorizing every exit, every angle, every shadow that could be used for defense. Colton followed, torn between gratitude and regret. The stranger had brought danger, yes, but he had also brought knowledge, strength, and a calm confidence that made the fear easier to carry. As night fell, lanterns flickered inside the house while crickets went silent outside, a desert omen of incoming trouble. And trouble arrived fast. Bandits emerged from the darkness like wolves, faces covered, weapons drawn, moving with practiced cruelty. They wanted Dakota. They wanted revenge, and they didn't care who they hurt to get it. Colton froze at first, the way any person untrained for violence would, but Dakota's deep voice cut through the panic. "Stand behind me. Defend what is yours." In the chaos that followed, Colton discovered courage he never knew he had. While Dakota used his immense strength and tactical skill to hold the attackers back, Colton used his knowledge of the ranch to sabotage the bandits' approach, locking gates, throwing lantern light to blind them, using the terrain to their advantage. The two men fought not as strangers, but as a team forged by necessity and trust. By dawn, the bandits were driven off, some fleeing into the desert, others captured and tied near the corral awaiting the sheriff. Exhausted, bruised, but alive, Colton finally understood the truth. The danger hadn't come because he offered his bed to a stranger. The danger had always been roaming the desert, but now he had someone powerful on his side to help face it. Dakota prepared to leave that morning, believing his presence endangered the ranch. But Colton stopped him. "You don't owe me a thing," Dakota said, but Colton shook his head. "Maybe not, but this ranch is safer with you here. And I think I am too." Something softened in Dakota's stern expression. Respect, gratitude, maybe even brotherhood. He agreed to stay for a season, helping protect the ranch and teaching Colton how to survive the harsh realities of the frontier. And from that day on, the ranchers of the valley whispered a new legend. The young rancher who made a mistake, only to discover it was the best choice he ever made. And that's how a single act of kindness